Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel Books Natasa, and welcome back to another wrap up. As you have probably guessed from the title, today I will be filming my January wrap up and I'm super excited and better sit down and relax because it's gonna be another long one, and let us get started. Firstly, I want to start by saying that I will be dividing this video with books and manga. First, I'm going to talk about all the books that I read, and then I'm continuing with the manga. So I'm trying this in different formats, and let me know what you guys think. And maybe I will start to divide manga wrap-ups and book wrap-ups, so there isn't a lot of... So the videos aren't like an hour long, but bear with it a little bit more and I will try to make it better. Also excuse the lighting, it's just it's raining outside like it has been for the past few weeks, so I'm using my natural lighting, so it's a little bit darker. So I'm hoping it's okay, and I hope you enjoy today's video. The first book on this list is Meet Me Halfway by Lillian T. James, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And this one was an okay read. I picked it up because it is a single parent small town romance, one of my all-time favorite tropes, and many people have said that it's similar to Wait For It by Mariana Zapata, and as many of you know, that book is one of my favorites by her, so I decided to give this book a try. But I find my opinion to be almost the same like everyone else's. This is like a copy-paste of Wait For It, except for a few scenes. But again, I did enjoy it, and but this book is like super fleeting for me. I read it, I did enjoy it, but I don't think I'm gonna think about it a lot anytime soon. So yeah. Next we have By a Thread by Lucy Score, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I was so happy to pick up this book. It has been on my TBR ever since November of last year, I believe, but I just couldn't pick it up because it was a long book and I didn't want to burn myself out. So I put it on my January TBR and I couldn't be happier. I had so much fun with it. It's enemies to lovers workplace romance, and it is a slow burn, and it is one of my favorites. I'm so happy that I decided to give Lucy Score a try to read more of her books after reading the Nogamon series and now this. I think it's gonna be super fun to continue with her books. So this one we have a heroine works multiple jobs, and she works at a pizza place when this super rich, super rude guy shows up and ends up getting her fired. So she tries to look for another job where the mother of the guy that got her fired suggested that she comes work for her company, which is one of the biggest in New York. And she goes there and receives a secretary job, I believe, at first. So yeah, she continues to push his buttons, and he continues to be super standoffish and rude towards her because he doesn't want anyone to think that there is any connection between them, because his father was a piece of garbage and he treated women as such, so he doesn't want anyone to think that about him. So he tries not to engage in any relationship with any women in his company. So yeah, but our heroine just has a way of sticking past his defenses, and I just love that. We keep seeing him fight their attraction, and it comes to a point where he just pushes and pushes her to open up to him even though she doesn't want to. So after a while they decide to give in to their passions, but as soon as they do, our guy is like, I can't believe I posted it, so I posted back until now, and we are serious, don't even get me started and all that. But then, like all romance books, something happens towards the end but I loved how it was resolved, and this book was just amazing. Definitely pick it up. Next is Beautiful Broken Pieces by Catherine Cowles. It's the first book in the Saturday Lake series, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And this one follows Taylor and Walker, and Taylor moves to Saturday Lake after experiencing a death, I think, in her family, maybe her parents. I'm not really sure. I keep mixing up all the different stories by Catherine Cowles, so bear with me. But that's what she meets Walker, who is town sheriff, I believe, and the chemistry is off the charts immediately, and they try so hard to fight, but then a kiss happens and they start dating, and it's incredible. Taylor keeps Walker in an arm's length distance. She doesn't want to fall in love with him because there is a case that she might lose him and all that stuff. So she tries her best not to love him, but that of course she fails because Walker is just sweet, adorable, and just such a sweetheart, and I love him. Next we have Beautiful Broken Life by Catherine Cowles. This book number 2 in the Saturday Lake series, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And this book follows Tessa and Liam. Liam is a country singer, I believe. He's super famous, but he decides to go to Saturday Lake to get a break and maybe get his inspiration back because he feels like super dried out. So that's when he meets Tessa. She works in this tea shop slash bakery, and one look at her and it's like bewitched. And we have met Tessa in previous books, and we know that there is something traumatic in her story, but we have no idea what it is. She's terrified of men, she flinches and all stuff, but later we found out that she has run from an abusive husband, I believe, and Liam is really there for her. He tries to make her as comfortable as he can be, make her feel safe, and when they start dating, it's just the sweetest thing. I loved it so much. Next we have Beautiful Broken Spirit. This is book number 3 in the Saturday Lake series by Catherine Cowles, and it follows Tuck and Jensen, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a brother's best friend trope, and I loved it. Tuck and Jensen had this connection ever since they were kids. They grew up together, and each of them always was able to get the other to open up about stuff that they weren't talking about to anyone, not even their families. Also, I love how now that Jensen is struggling with the fact that something happened to Taylor in the first book, and she feels like it's her fault. Tuck is really there for her, even though they were sort of estranged lately. He really helps her push through these feelings that she has, and helps her take a break from her work because she keeps working until she drops, and everyone is worried about her, and her kid is also like super worried. So I really love this book. It's just super emotional, and I love this song. Next, I reread Luna and the Light by Mariana Zapata, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I picked this book up on a total whim. I just felt like I haven't reread a Mariana Zapata book in a while, except for the ones that I keep reading. So it was either this or hands down, and I was feeling this one a bit more because I didn't remember a lot of stuff. So my third, I believe this was my third reread, and I enjoyed this book so much more this time around. I remember the first time I gave it like 4 stars, and that was like barely there. So now that I gave it 4.5, I feel like a lot better. I love the relationship between Luna and Ripley. Also, I love how towards the end something happens and really pushes her away, but she totally holds her ground, and I love that. I also love how they get together at the end. It's just amazing. I also love how Ripley keeps making her days run away. It's just the sweetest thing. And basically the ending of this book is really amazing. I loved it very much. I didn't really enjoy the aspect of Luna's family, but other than that, I really did enjoy it. I also loved getting to know more about cars and all that stuff. Next we have The Bride, which is book number 1 in the Calamity Montana series by Will and Nass, Bookswithnatasa is a pen name for David Perry, and as you have heard of this channel, I give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book follows Lucy and Duke. Duke is a town sheriff. Lucy is a famous country singer. She runs from the spotlight, moves to the small town after wanting to quit music because of everyone keeps controlling her, and there is a stalker there. So she tries to leave and maybe get some perspective back into her life. That's where she meets Duke. They get introduced to one another. And she uses a fake name, but then Duke realizes she's lying, so he is hell bent on finding out why she's lying. So that's when Lucy bribes him, but he says yes, which shocks us all because he's just such a nice guy. But then we found out that he kind of wants to hold it over her head, so she feels obligated to tell him, and I love that. I also love how the chemistry is off the charts. I love how Duke is just the best guy ever. He's just such a sweetheart. He's a gentleman. He has such a good manners. He treats Lucy like a queen, and I love that so much. It was a perfect beginning to this series, and I can't wait to read more. Next we have Beautiful Broken Control, which is book number 4 in the Saturday Lake series, which I gave 4.75 out of 5 stars, and this one is following Kane and Kennedy, and this one took me completely by surprise. I had no idea I was gonna love this book as much as I did. We have Kennedy that has a lot of trauma in her background basically, and she doesn't let anyone in, and she also keeps to herself. She doesn't tell anyone anything about her past because she has changed her name legally and has moved away to escape from all that. But Kane doesn't trust anyone because people keep using him and taking advantage of him. So of course he digs up into her past, and because he can find anything, he finds it suspicious and doesn't trust her. But after a while they begin this sort of friendship, but also sort of exploring the feelings, and I love that. After they begin dating, it's amazing, but we see Kane push and push until he finds all of Kennedy's story and her background. But when Kennedy asks a few questions about his background, he totally shuts down and doesn't want to answer anything. And I just found that a little bit annoying. But then how everything wraps up was really good, and I really did enjoy reading this book. Next we have Beautifully Broken Redemption, book number 5 in the Saturday Lake series by Catherine Cowles, and I gave it again 4.75 out of 5 stars. This book follows Anna and Mason, Anna which we meet in the previous book because she works in the shelter with Kennedy. Mason is this guy that Anna keeps avoiding because he seems too nice for her, but she also has a lot of trust issues because her previous boyfriend betrayed her and she ended up in jail. But now Anna, after the death of her sister, tries to take custody of her sister's children, but then her abusive parents also want that, so there is gonna be a court battle. So Mason offers Anna the chance that they get married, and because he has a perfect record, so he really wants to help her, but he also secretly is super in love with her, so that's one of his reasons he wants to help, and they form this perfect family, and I love it. Mason is also an amazing guy. I wish there were more like him. He's such a nice guy, adorable, such a sweetheart gentleman, always cares for Anna's feelings and her boundaries, and I just love it so much. Next we have Daughter, which is book number 1 in the Lack Cove series by David Perry, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I know I finally read the first book on this series. I have been meaning to do that for a while now, but it has been so difficult to pick up, even though it has some of my favorite shows, which is Small Town, Single Parent, Second Chance, and it took me so long to pick up because I read Logan in the cover chapter and I wasn't sure how I was feeling with him having his own book, but I really did enjoy it. We have Logan who lives in New York, super into his work, and he's super rich, And one night he had one night stand with Thea, and it was explosive. Now, 6 years later, I believe, she has a kid with him, and he finds out while he's on a business trip in Montana. She tried to find him but wasn't able to because she didn't know his last name. She waited for a while. I guess he turned up again in the bar, but after that she went to the small town to and start raising their daughter. So Logan, it takes one look at the kid and he still knows that it's his daughter, and he really wants to be in her life. He's super committed to that, but he's also really committed to his work and wants to go back to New York. But at the same time, he wants Thea and the girl to move there, but Thea doesn't want that because she likes her life there, and the kid likes the family that they have made there, and I love that. Also, I love how Logan and Thea are together. They are perfect for one another. I also love how in the end Logan did the best decision for everyone, and that was such an amazing thing for him to do. And I love how much we get to see him grow while reading this book, and it was just amazing. Next we have The Bluff, which is book number 2 in the Calamity Montana series by Will Nass, and I gave it 4.75 out of 5 stars. This one is like a one night stand and marriage of convenience situation. We have Hawks, and then we have Lucy's friend, which we met in the previous book. She decides to also move to there after some stuff that happened in the previous book, and she's left traumatized. That's why she had one night stand with Hawks, and it's explosive. So they start doing this regular weekend thing between them, but then she accidentally listens that he needs a wife so he can win the court case to get his daughter back, because she has a criminal record, so it's difficult for the court to agree. So they decide to get married and live together, basically pretend that they are married and in love so they can win the court case so he can get his daughter back, and I loved it. This was an amazing book, so emotional, and I love watching the process in of the relationship. Hawks was a bit like, I'm super in love with you, and at the same time I really don't want to be married. He had a bad experience with his ex-wife because she's the worst, but after he pulls his head out of his ass, he's like incredible, and I loved it. Next we have The Brazen, which is book number 3 in the Calamity Montana series by Will Nass, and I gave it again 4.75 out of 5 stars. This is a billionaire romance, and it took me completely by surprise. Usually I'm not one for billionaire romances, and I don't really enjoy them except for a few occasions, and this book was it. In this book we follow Kerrigan, we met in previous books. She is a realtor and has a lot of properties all across town, but she is hemorrhaging money, so her investor agreed to give her an extension on the loan, but then he ends up dead on a plane crash. So that's then when his grandson Pierce shows up and is like, we have 30 days to pay or else everything is mine, and then I will sell them and everything. She is heartbroken and furious, so she goes to his cabin to talk to him, but then they end up being snowed in for a few days, and that's where they can deny the chemistry, and they ended up being like super into one another, also getting to know one another, and when it's over they're like super in love, and I love that. Also we see Pierce totally stepping up at the end of this book. After he leaves, it broke my heart right on Kerrigan's, but after we found out the reason, I was like actually glad that he did leave, but at the same time I was really heartbroken. But the end of this book was amazing and totally make up for everything that he put us through, and I loved it so much. So that's for the books that I read this month, so let's just get straight into the manga because I have quite a few of those too. The first manga that I read in the month of January was Kami-sama Kids Volume 1, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I just had the best time reading about Tomoe and Nanami again. The reason why I picked this manga up was because I love the anime so much and I just missed Tomoe, so I thought why not try the manga, and I ended up really enjoying it. It still gives me the same feelings as the anime, and I was so here for it. I just miss all these characters, and the vibe of the story it's just so light and fluffy and I love it. The only thing that kinda puts me off is the art style, but I understand that it's pretty old series, and it's gonna take me a while to get used to, but under that, this is amazing and I can't wait to continue. Next, we have given volume 1 until 7, and I gave all of these 4 stars except for volume 6 and 7, which I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. I just had so much fun being back into this world, these characters. I have been wanting for a while to pick this manga up, and I picked it up on a whim at the beginning of the year, and I just had the best time reading it, and I'm so happy that I waited, because if I need to wait like a few months to get the last update, I would have actually died. The last few volumes were super stressful for Uyama, Kom, and Matthew, and I just love the ending of it. Also, we get to see more of, let me see a minute his name. Shizu and the other guy finally start dating, and it's incredible. I love how Shizu is like super pushy and doesn't really stand for any hesitations, because as soon as the other guy said I like her and I actually have feelings for you, he was like, oh my god, this finally has happened, I'm not letting go with at all. Next, this is a volume that made me so happy to read, and that is My Hero Academia Volume 1, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I decided I want to actually read the My Hero Academia manga and try my best to make it through it so I can be updated chapter by chapter like everyone else, because I keep seeing updates and everyone's screaming, and I really want to know what happens in the story, because the anime is like a lot slower, and I really want to know what happens now in the story. So yeah, I have decided to start it, but I have no idea if I'm going to continue this month or the next. But it's not gonna take me too long if I start it, but right now I'm giving priority to Attack on Titan. Next, I read Waiting for Spring Volume 1, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And this one I read because I'm looking for shoujo to read alongside all of my shonen. This one was a good one. I really enjoyed the relationship between the girl and Ayako, I believe his name is. Also the other guys. It gave me a lot of Fruits Basket vibes, which I love. But at the same time, it just gave me this extra feeling, and even though I did really enjoy it, I'm not sure when I'm gonna pick it up and read it, but it is a really fun read, so I'm just waiting to be in the mood for it, I guess. Next, I read Attack on Titan's Omnibus 3 by Hajime Isayama, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This has volumes 7, 8, and 9, and this concludes my reading of season 1, and I couldn't be happier. I also have rewatched season 1 of the anime. I'm about to start season 2 soon, and I just love being back into this world, these characters, and this story. I mean, I pick up so many pieces of information that I didn't catch the first time that I watched it. I mean, how Ryan and Bertolt and Nani are connected and all that. Also the stuff that is gonna happen soon. Also, learning a lot of more stuff about the Titans and all that. I actually pay attention more to the mythology because I know what's coming. So I really do love that, and I think I will be able to read the entirety of the manga before the last part of the anime comes out. So wish me luck. Next, we have Attack on Titan Omnibus 4 by Hajime Isayama, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars, and this concludes volumes 10, 11, and 12, which are season 2. And oh my god, this was incredible. I mean, we got a female Titan, we have the exhibition in the walls that they're trying to capture her, the fight between Eren and Annie, and it's just amazing. Also, we got Levi, I mean, slashing all these Titans away like they're nothing. Also, I really missed seeing Erwin. I mean, many of you know that he's not in the latest season, but I really did miss seeing him. Also, our characters are like so much more innocent and happy now that they are in the later anime manga volumes anyway. and that just breaks my heart. I mean, Hans is just so different here, and Eren as well, and I just can't bring myself to see when everything falls apart, because I know when I see that moment I'm gonna start crying, and I have no idea how I'm gonna survive my continuation of the story. Next we have Hitorizime My Hero Volumes 1 until 12 by Memeko Ari, which I give 4 out of 5 stars. This is again another manga series that I picked up completely on a whim. I started a rewatch of this anime, and I just felt like, why don't I pick up the manga? And I was like, started and finished in like 2 days, and I am so excited for the final one to release February 28th. I wish I had known about it a bit sooner, but it's okay. I love the manga so much more than the anime, and I love watching Kusuke's and Satawa's relationship, even though it is quite uncomfortable and unconventional, because the age gap is quite big and it's in a weird place. But I really did enjoy my reading. The characters had so much depth, and their relationship was so much more developed in the manga, and in the anime just felt a little bit pushy. The manga did an incredible job portraying their feelings and how each of them keep taking initiatives, and so we don't have Enuki and Seme here, and I love that so much. So that's it for my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. I had so much fun talking about all these different books and mangas that I read in the month of January. It just is a perfect beginning for the year. I just already feel super amazing, super accomplished, and I just can't wait to have fun this year, because my reading goal is like 50 books and I have already almost reached that goal, so there is no pressure for me this year, except for the fact that I really want to read the Last Hour series, but we'll see about that. So like, subscribe, and stick around, and I will see you for my next video very soon. Bye!